More money takes care of 95% of all of our problems. Welcome to day 242 and Tell Me YouTube Millionaire. Again, I'm doing this in my bed because my back is still thrashed, and it probably will be for another 3 or 4 days if I had to guess. But 95% of all of our problems would be remedied if we had more money. There have been many studies that have shown that one's net happiness stops going up after making $75,000 to $80,000 a year or so. At least this was back in the year 2020, I believe it was, that the study was done that I'm thinking of. Now, this is for a multitude of reasons. Because indeed, like I said, 95% of all of our problems will be remedied with more money. The first reason this is the case with the $75,000, $80,000, whatever a year, is because most people don't have very big aspirations. They're happy to just live normal lives and be normal people. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. But let's say you do have big aspirations and big capacities. Like myself. I have very big aspirations. I want to be a real estate tycoon. And I want to get to space. And all that fun stuff. This is only possible with lots and lots of money. Now, I don't want those things just to have them, because that by itself would not give me the happiness. It's absolutely true. But to build stuff. I want that money to build stuff. This is why the sorting hat that is the free market tends to lead to those with very high levels of competence to get a lot more resources. If they have a high level of conscientiousness, even halfway decent luck, and halfway decent intelligence with a vision of something for the future, then if they're given lots and lots of resources through their merit, which is what's supposed to happen in the free market, then they'll use those resources to build incredible things. I've been held back in my life from accomplishing what I'm truly capable of. Basically the whole of my life. I know that I should have at least 10 times the resources that I have right now. So yeah, my girlfriend sent me this video. It's called "The Most Hated Woman in Financial Audit History" by Caleb something or other. Hamble, I think. Basically a woman who got divorced from her ex-husband back in like 2020 or something, and agreed to $2,150 for child support from him, in addition to the income she makes, as well as a bunch of other dividends and stuff. And she, despite making about $5,500 to $6,000 a month, which is enough to support a family of 3 children, she still burns through like $12,000 a month, sometimes more, because she doesn't keep track of her spending, and she's a big spender. And that, in addition to the fact that everything nowadays is getting more and more expensive. But that compounded upon things like no-fault divorce here in California, and just basically the government getting in the way of marriage, they're becoming a middleman, has screwed up the incentive structure. Even with that, though, if you're somebody like Elon Musk, for instance, he can do unconventional things, and he's got $400-something billion in net worth. He can afford everything that he could possibly want, which means he can afford doing things that are wildly out of the norm, like his Starship stuff, the fact that he has a lot of kids. I want a lot of kids, and a bunch of other things. But yeah, money would cure 95% of all of our problems. If we had more money, there would be no stresses about these things. And the stresses, whether emotional or physical, about what you want to do with your life would become secondary to the potential to the capacity to do things with more income. You want to make money to get yourself free from doing things that you don't want to do. So if you're working in a cubicle making, let's say, $30 an hour, maybe 40, which is, if you're working as a mid-level person in a big corporation that's pushing papers and whatnot, you could probably expect to be making about 30 or $40 an hour, or if you're salaried, like $70,000 a year. It's pretty decent at 30 years old or whatever, 35. And if you want to get free of that, expedite the process by drastically reducing your expenses. If it's just you and your wife, you could get away with maybe $1,000 a month for food and $1,500 a month for rent, so $2,500 there. And then for everything else, including car gas and whatnot, probably get away with an extra $1,000. So let's say $3,500 a month you're spending, and you're still making $70,000 divided by 12 is, 6,000 something a month. So that means the rest of that money you're not spending, you sock away. And even if you don't want to put it all into investments that'll start making you a return really quick, then you can put, say, a third or half of that away into those types of investments, which would end up being about, $1,000 a month or so. And by the way, this is average. You can make a lot more than this, especially if you have a wife who makes money as well. You take half of that, put it into a savings account, and the other half you save for vacations and whatnot. All right? So $1,000 a month you're saving for vacations is $12,000 a year. That's either 2 very, very nice cruises or 1 pleasure junket of like a month or something to another country where you get to do whatever the hell you want. But basically, that's for the normal person, right? More money cures 95% of all of our issues. It is not a panacea, it does not cure all of them, but we can stop worrying about certain things if we just had more money. Money is the cause of almost all divorces, lack of it, all right? And when you do that in California, for instance, no-fault divorce means that the ex-wife gets 50% of all the resources regardless of how much she worked, regardless of all of it. So the way Jeff Bezos' ex-wife became a billionaire and like the second or third wealthiest woman in the world was by getting divorced to him or getting a divorce with him. So she got half of his net worth. He was the wealthiest person in the world for some time, and then that happened and screwed him over at least a little bit and made her unjustifiably wealthy. It's a strange situation. But either way, it's you really got to look at it that way. And it's one of the big frustrations in my life. I have enough to survive, but not enough to thrive, not enough to build stuff. I am left to live as a leech off of the government, getting my Social Security payments and my disability payments, when I have capacities that should be getting me 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 times that amount of money. And with those resources, I would build great things with them. But it's never going to change. I will never be allowed to break out. I won't. And every time I get the inclination that, your breakthrough's coming, they pull the carrot away farther. It's just a joke. It's evil, in fact. There comes a point where you cannot keep somebody's secret any longer. And I fear that if that happens for me, that's going to be the moment I'm unalived. Because they just won't let me succeed. They're like, you're not allowed to succeed. If you start succeeding, we're going to unalive you. So I'm being wasted. That's legit. I'm not kidding. I should be making at least 10 times the amount of money I'm making. At least. But every venture I've tried has been blocked, either immediately or within a few weeks to a few months. So there's so many things I want to do that require a lot of money to do, and I simply can't because I don't have that money. I have some, but just enough to be semi-comfortable. And that's the worst position to be in. If you're comfortable, you don't grow. And I want to grow. I want to build. I want to make great things. I have an entire plan to build an orbiting space hotel around Earth, and to do something similar with the moon and Mars and all that stuff. I even have all the logistics worked out. Not all, but a lot of the logistics worked out. How much it would cost, what I would use to get up there, the people that I'd hire, what I'd pay them, all of that. And I can't do it because I don't have the resources. I want to publish a ton of books, but each one of them, if I want to actually get any traction whatsoever, it's like $10,000 to publish a book, and it's exceedingly hard to find a literary agent that will just sponsor you. I'm trying to right now, but then the people I'm going through to find that literary agent charging me $3,000, nickel and diming me to death. Everything requires money. I need more of it to do what I want to do in life. Spent $10,000 to get that book published, and I have 5, 10 more that I want to publish within a few years. That'd be, let's say 10 books. That's $100,000 I'd be spending. That money doesn't just grow on trees. And, yeah. If I would have more money, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I could just do it. I've only made like $150 off of my book because they're not publicizing it. They're not advertising it properly. I am very disappointed in Page Publishing, honestly. So, anyway, money cures 95% of our problems. I'm in this awkward position again because I can't get the stem cell therapy on my legs because it's too expensive. And the Veterans Affairs medical system keeps pushing the stem cell study off. More money would cure 95% of the problems. Anyway, you guys hear me. I know you do. God, all of these videos that I make here are essentially a homily/prayer. So God, I know you hear me. I know you see me. Give me wealth so that I can do these things I want to do. Please. I know you won't, but I'm saying that, I'm requesting it, I'm praying for it anyway. Amen. All right, guys. Love y'all. Peace.